This week on UND Insider Weekly, football opens their home schedule with a Potato Bowl win against Robert Morris. Volleyball cleans house at the UND Classics, and we will preview this weekend's action. Last September was the groundbreaking, and now after 1 year of construction, pillars have started to rise as we get an update on the High Performance Center. All this week on UND Insider Weekly. Welcome to UND Insider Weekly, alongside Brad Schlossman and Tom Miller from the Grand Forks Herald and Paul Ralston from UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. Gentlemen, an interesting weekend at the University of North Dakota. Right behind us, the UND volleyball team did a great job against Tulane in South Dakota, won the North Dakota Classic, and of course the home opener for Bubba Schweigert and the football team. I think those are the two top things we can discuss today. Let's start with that football game at the Alaris Center Saturday night. It was a 16-13 UND win over Robert Morris. I'll just give you a quick take. My take was not a lot of style points won by UND, but the game won by UND, which was, we talked about it last week, how critical that was. What do you think?
Yeah, offensively they have some issues to overcome right now. I think you could say defensive special teams kind of won that one for them, especially special teams. Is kind of where they made the difference. But offensively, they're just out of sync still. Guys not going in the right places, some false starts. Routes not timed correctly. They still have some work to do there.
RJ McGill said to me after the game, and he said going into the game right now, offensively it's all about the rhythm. But he says, on the offensive side, it's just so critical. Like if you have just one guy that doesn't quite do the right thing or has one little mistake, it affects the whole sequence basically for them offensively, and you're seeing that happen on a frequent enough basis, whether it's a running play or a passing play. Defensively, you'd see some good plays. You'd also see, like in that second half, they got hurt a little bit up the middle with that tough runner, that young runner for Robert Morris. But you got to give credit to that Eric Schmidt defense that that they figured out a way to make enough stops and give themselves a position, get them in position.
Yeah, they played a lot of people and they made big stops when they had to. I mean, they gave up a lot of big third down plays to that. What was his name?
Ramsey
up the middle. Draw plays or whatever they were called, but when it came down to nut cutting, they got it done.
I'm surprised that Paul missed the opportunity to brag up a Thompson boy, Garrett Reineke, who defensively had a pretty nice game, 9 tackles, 2.5 for loss. They had a few guys like that who had a little more playing time than they've had in the last little while here come through.
Well, that's the other thing about the defense is they didn't expect all these guys to be playing at the start of the year. I mean, this isn't the way they drew it up. They had some injuries and some guys filled in, and they did the job. Maybe if Robert Morris goes back and knows those guys aren't playing, they might want to test the deep ball a little more. Maybe they can't. Maybe that's not part of their game. I don't know. But they definitely held them to a low score without some of their starters.
And speaking of Reineke, there's a guy that is proof positive that you can work your tail off basically for a number of years, because he'd been kind of just doing the special teams thing primarily. He gets his opportunity and he has a big game, especially
same with Dylan Olson.
Right.
Regular Minnesota gets a start at safety after maybe playing in 3 games his whole career. Now in his 4th year with the program, gets a start, has 6 tackles, does some nice things.
Well, that was I saw his name come up with the starting lineups. They were giving that out there. By the way, how about those video boards and stuff?
Yeah, those look nice.
Very nice. But his name came out. Starting? And then he comes up with 6 tackles. That's a good. And the special teams, obviously, the blocks that they made and that type of thing they were the big key to the game.
That's the difference in the game right there. UND's kicker, Reed Taubenheim, true freshman, makes 3 of 4 field goals. One of them a fairly difficult one, 45 plus. Their kicker misses both of his field goal attempts and an extra point. So that's a huge point swing right there. If they trade kickers, UND loses this game, I think. So that's big. Not to mention that dropped punt that gave UND their first field goal of the game too. So special teams were dominated by UND in this game.
And I don't care, what level, whether it be pee-wee hockey or high school football or college football or whatever it might be. You get a win some way, somehow. Confidence starts to permeate through the entire locker room and through young people. They start to believe. They start to, they like that feeling. And they're going to need that basically because now they're getting to a point in the schedule where it's going to be really challenging. So that's a big step forward for them on Saturday.
Your take on Adam Shogabee, that was a lot of the talk after the game. He had 2 carries, I think, and ripped out some pretty big yardage and didn't get any more carries than that. Could it be in a scheme where you're going by committee that sometimes guys are just overlooked?
Yeah,
He's got to get the ball more.
Brad and I are talking about that a lot.
He's explosive. He was explosive on his 2 runs. I don't know how you don't watch those runs and say, look, I mean, Jared Garman, 7 carries, 9 yards. Cedric Simmons wasn't really busting out. And I don't know how you don't see that and say, we got to get this guy the ball more and try him out. So I think this weekend at Missouri State we'll see a lot more Adam Shogabee.
Certainly, especially return to goal line situations. They went first and goal from the 3. Shogabee didn't come in the game. Had to settle for, I think it was a 20-yard Reed Taubenheim field goal. So I think you're going to see more Adam Shogabee coming up.
I think at quarterback, again, it goes maybe back to the rhythm thing a little bit, but Moberg did not have a good game. I don't think there's any doubt about that, is there?
Well, he also was not accurate in some passes. He also had 0 turnovers, if I recall correctly, which
one fumbled
important.
Exchange between him and Dustin Iverson.
Okay. They had a couple exchange problems.
Yeah. So
I look at it this way, and I think that's what RJ was hitting on is the rhythm thing. At times the offensive line, I think, looks like a pretty good unit, and that favors Joe in those situations. And then sometimes the offensive line has had their struggles, and then if Joe makes a mistake, then it combines, it reflects more on him than anything. You don't always observe kind of everything that kind of goes into maybe a play where Joe Moberg makes a mistake. So he had a tough outing.
The receivers
said he's got to play better.
The receivers didn't really help him out a whole lot either. They had a couple drops that they need to catch, but then there's a couple times he took a snap and went to hand the ball off, and he was going a different way that his running back was, and I don't know whose mistake that was, but there were some little things like that they have to clean up.
I got to tell you, watching the volleyball game against South Dakota on Friday night after they had knocked off Tulane in the morning session, actually, I kind of walked away from that thing thinking it was over when UND was down in that one, and shock of shocks, they came back and then they really did business on Saturday. That was great 4 wins.
Well, Coach Mark Pryor told me after the game that he said that when it was 24-21, they were losing. In that 4th game, the official notified him that he's used 12 subs, and he told him it doesn't matter, it's going to be over anyway pretty soon. So he said he thought it was over even, but they got some confidence from some points, and what he really liked is that when they got into those situations where South Dakota could have closed it out, that they played really loose. They didn't really tighten up at all.
Yeah, you look at moving forward, obviously, there's some big things ahead for them. Obviously, the Big Sky campaign just around the corner. They've got a big rivalry matchup, and, it was good to see the youth continue to not be fazed by challenging situations. Faith Dooley, who played her high school volleyball.
Who said looked like the Exorcist against Auburn. Her head was spinning around so fast.
Right. I mean, she just continues to kind of just kind of play the game and just do things simply up in the middle, and obviously to have her and Chelsea Mosier in the middle that continue to take step forwards, that really helps them because they're getting solid performances out of Lexi Robinson and Nikki Huesfeld and Mackenzie Hart and Lauren Clark. Those are the stalwarts. They're getting the solid performances out of them. It's these other players that are evolving really kind of quickly, and it's been nice to see.
Tulane had to have gone home thinking, what just happened? We got blitzed by North Dakota and South Dakota.
Yeah, we were 28-4 a year ago here. What just happened?
I have to add the great crowd for the volleyball, great crowd for the football game too, and most of them stuck around. You had to at the football game.
Good atmospheres probably made a difference late in both games.
All right, guys, thanks. Coming up, volleyball and football are on the road this weekend for some big games. We'll preview those next.
My favorite thing in the whole world is hearing a mallard hen in the background at sunup on a cold, clear day. I wouldn't rather be anywhere in the world. Hunting with your dog, to me, is half of being out there. That's what they live for. Most waterfowlers would say that it isn't about shooting, it's about tricking them. I want the customer to know that I truly want them to have a successful hunt. I'm Wayne Salem, and I'm one of the waterfowl experts at Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Attention kids 8th grade and younger. You can now register to be a North Dakota Junior Champion for free. That's right, get a free membership to the official kids club of UND Athletics just by registering in person at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley. Membership includes a Junior Champions t-shirt, free admission to over 60 UND home games, exclusive Junior Champions events, and more. Sign up today for free at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley and be a North Dakota Junior Champion.
Save rebound, Gorder scores! And North Dakota wins it 2-1 to advance to the Frozen Four. North Dakota Hockey single game tickets on sale Friday, September 12th at the Ralph Engelstad Arena box office and online at undsports.com.
We play to win, but it's bigger than winning. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself, genuine dreams and a country big enough to fit them, values and hard work, giving your best and giving back, working together, building a tradition bigger than any one of us, and showing the world every day who we are and how we play. We're Big Sky. We are the heart of the American West.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Welcome back to Insider Weekly. Guys, we talked about the football game in the past, the win over Robert Morris, a big one at the Alaris Center. Now the football team takes the road. Volleyball had some big wins here at the Betty against Tulane in South Dakota. They hit the road as well. Let's start with the volleyball this time. They go down, and a lot of tough competition for Coach Mark Crowder's team this weekend.
Yeah, you look at it from a standpoint, they're staying in the region basically, so that's kind of good travel for a team that's already been out to Washington, D.C., had to swing through Des Moines, then of course had the home tournament where they had 4 matches and everybody else had 3, so at least it's travel that's within the area. But as far as the competition is concerned, I mean, you get a good flavor of Midwestern, except for one team, Florida International, I think is in that tournament down in Brookings. But South Dakota State, Iowa, a Big Ten school there, should make for some very interesting matchups, basically. And we'll know a lot about this team going into the Big Sky campaign once we get through this week.
That's something the coaches got to like about playing tournaments like these early in the year. You can find out a lot about your team, and they have some young players playing big roles, and maybe it can help them grow a little bit.
And Coach Pryor has said that we're all building up. Doesn't make a difference. I'm sure he would have used different verbiage, but it doesn't make a difference until you get to the conference tournament. Mm-hmm. And everything is leading to that and trying to get better up until that. Football back on the road. Missouri State, Missouri Valley Conference team, and team that lost to Oklahoma State, FBS school last weekend. What can we expect from them? Obviously, Bubba knows quite a bit about them.
Yeah, I think, a team that stays within 40-23 with Oklahoma State, that's obviously a challenging opponent for an FCS school. UND is going to have to be a lot better than they were against Robert Morris to beat Missouri State, especially offensively. They need to just cut down on penalties, on miscues, and they need Joe Moberg to be better throwing the football. So.
Missouri State, I think, is being led by a quarterback that transferred out of Mizzou.
Yeah.
And I know that they expect big things out of this young guy. So North Dakota defensively, had a pretty solid performance. They're probably going to have to be at a different level defensively against this Missouri State team on the road to give themselves a chance to win. I think Missouri State is actually, I have them pegged in their conference to finish fairly high up in the Missouri Valley this year. I think they're a pretty good quality opponent, and this is a big one for North Dakota as far as challenges at this level, like FCS schools. So.
2 weeks in a row now, I think UND's kind of played opponents' passing games that like to just do quick hitters to the side and based on yards after catch. It'll be interesting to see. I think Missouri State really can stretch the field, and UND a little banged up in the secondary, especially at safety. That's going to be a matchup to watch. Those wide receivers against some inexperienced D-backs.
Yeah, UND definitely has to hang on the ball longer to keep them off the field, I would guess.
Possession.
That's where Adam Shagabe comes into play. I think he's the kind of guy that can grind out some yards and churn out the clock a little bit, and I'm really curious to see how that goes, because they are looking for a running back, I think, that can make some big plays in the running game.
Brad's now Warroad's favorite son.
Brad just likes him because the kid played hockey.
Yeah, he's a hockey guy.
He's looking for free fishing. How much do you think it'll help North Dakota that Bubby Schweiger, again, is familiar, having coached against him several times?
Eric Schmidt, too.
Yeah,
right, the familiarity.
It's got to help. I mean, you know, some of these games you go into not knowing a single thing about them, and I think they'll feel a lot more comfortable playing against them. And it'll be interesting to hear what Missouri State's perspective is. Maybe they like the fact that it's coached by someone they've coached against, and not, coaching in the dark against someone they haven't seen before.
All right, thanks, guys. Still to come, we'll get an update on the new UND Athletics High Performance Center.
Attention kids 8th grade and younger. You can now register to be a North Dakota Junior Champion for free. That's right, get a free membership to the official kids club of UND Athletics just by registering in person at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley. Membership includes a Junior Champions t-shirt, free admission to over 60 UND home games, exclusive Junior Champions events, and more. Sign up today for free at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley and be a North Dakota Junior Champion.
Save rebound, Gorder scores! And North Dakota wins it 2-1 to advance to the Frozen Four. North Dakota Hockey single game tickets on sale Friday, September 12th at the Ralph Engelstad Arena box office and online at undsports.com.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
A dual set of soccer games this weekend as UND takes on Creighton this Friday at 4 o'clock, and then on Sunday, Northern Iowa visits Grand Forks to face North Dakota at noon. You can watch both games on UND Insider. Visit UND Insider on Twitter to keep up to date on any changes to the webcast and for all live on-demand video updates. Well, just a little over a year ago, UND broke ground on the new High Performance Center. And a year later, and the structure has started to rise, bringing us closer to a new chapter for UND Athletics.
long time coming, and we're excited that they've got the first mainframe up yesterday, working on the second one today. It's quite a process. It's quite an operation to get the beams in here. They're in four parts for the mainframe, and there are considerable weight issues that have to be addressed. There'll be 24 of these mainframes when this facility is completed. And as you may be able to show, there's an interesting incline to get the equipment, the trucks in here with the structural steel. So it's a pretty involved process, but they seem to have it down pretty good. I don't know how they get it in around the corners. They got some sharp turns to get in here, but they're able to do it. Mainframes are up, they'll begin to work on the roof, and the roof is critical from the standpoint of the project and the time issues, because we have to be able to work inside, putting down the turf, putting down the track surface, and getting that done. And they can't do that if it's an open weather situation. In other words, if the roof isn't completed. So that'll be the next thing once that gets done. So it'll be down to the wire, I suspect. You know how the winters are. So the later that starts, the better. Exciting to see, and you want to see things get up out of the ground, and now we have that, and we'll certainly be watching this thing carefully over the course of the next couple of weeks and months, trying to get everything up online for some potential, some spring football, maybe inside practice, and certainly have some impact on track in the spring if we can hold it at March deadline.
Coming up, this panel has been sitting in a dead silence for the past 10 minutes thinking of what they're looking forward to this week, and they'll let us in on it coming up next.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
We play to win, but it's bigger than winning. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself, genuine dreams and a country big enough to fit them, values and hard work, giving your best and giving back, working together, building a tradition bigger than any one of us, and showing the world every day who we are and how we play. We're Big Sky. We are the heart of the American West.
Attention kids 8th grade and younger. You can now register to be a North Dakota Junior Champion for free. That's right, get a free membership to the official kids club of UND Athletics just by registering in person at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley. Membership includes a Junior Champions t-shirt, free admission to over 60 UND home games, exclusive Junior Champions events, and more. Sign up today for free at any U.S. Bank location in North Dakota or the Red River Valley and be a North Dakota Junior Champion.
And North Dakota wins it 2-1 to advance to the Frozen Four. North Dakota hockey single game tickets on sale Friday, September 12th at the Ralph Engelstad Arena box office and online at UNDsports.com. Welcome back to Insider Weekly. So, guys, what are we looking forward to this week? A lot of things on the plate. You're first.
All right. How about UND soccer coming home? They were at Nebraska here this last week, and they were only down 1-0 at the half. And Nebraska's the Big Ten champions. And I think Coach Kellogg is looking forward to getting his squad, who's still very young, home, and they've got another challenging weekend in front of them. They do host Creighton, which is typically a very strong soccer school, and Northern Iowa, a very good Missouri Valley school as well. So it's kind of a Missouri Valley weekend. So I'm very curious of that. Also volleyball, just to see if they can continue progressing and having another good tournament ahead of them down in Brookings with South Dakota State and a number of those schools down there. So those two areas are the things I'm really highlighting this weekend.
Over at the Ralph Engelstad Arena, they got a major project going on down beneath the stands.
Major project.
Yeah, it's going to look good though when it's done. I've seen parts of it, and they're renovating the team area, the locker room, the lounge, the coaches' offices are going down there. Just a whole. It's going to look a lot different down there, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like when it's all done.
Tom?
I'll say I'm going to see if Brad Schlossman's campaign to get Adam Shogman more carries comes to fruition in Springfield, Missouri. They were Robert Morris had the ball 9 more minutes than UND, and UND's got to flip that if they have a chance against Missouri State.
I think you're right. I'm looking forward to listening to Paul on the sidelines at Missouri State and reading what you guys have to say about the football game on Saturday as well.
Yeah, behave down there, boys.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. And remember, join us next week for a brand new Insider Weekly. The episode premieres next Wednesday at 8 p.m. on UNDsports.com. Also Fridays at 5 on Midco Sportsnet.